That's really great. That's really great. Oh, apparently Hello Draco says, one of my friends is the guy in Unfriended who sticks his hand in the blender.
Well, that's the best part of the movie.
His name is Jacob Wysocki.
Well, you let him know that I think he's the best part of the movie. The funniest part of the trailer, for sure.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
She won't come with me now. She's too distraught to come with me.
Yeah, that's fine. Leave her. Leave her. But, so yeah, fair, in any case, fair use be damned. YouTube blanket takes down anything just in case.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, 100%
well,
they're right.
You could dispute it.
Yeah.
But that takes, it can take up to 30 days for that dispute to, cancel out.
Yep.
So.
And it is perfectly in YouTube's
Oh,
right
God
to do
damn
that,
it.
so that's fine. So you found a clever workaround.
Yes.
I want to throw the zombie off of the balcony.
Oh.
God!
Do you have to maybe back up a little bit?
I'll try.
You're a little too close.
Nope. That's not what I wanted to do.
Oh, whoa. Hey there. Hey, slow down. Oh.
Oh!
Oh, God. Don't throw her, or throw her off. See what happens.
Throw everyone off. Fuck them.
No, they're helping you. Don't. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, I thought you were doing something nasty.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't be so close to it. Oh.
No.
That's too bad. No, it's not. I mean, it's not necessarily shitty of YouTube. They're just blanket like protecting not only themselves, but remember, like, YouTube is an advertising platform. They make more money from studios than they do from content producers, so they're protecting their interests.
Where'd the other guy go?
Oh, did he die?
Oh, he's
Oh.
It's just a thing you have to deal with.
It's just a thing you have to deal with. So they found a clever way to do so. That's all that matters.
Oh, no.
What the
He shot me. I was trying to pick up the zombie.
Oh. Guys, stop killing the zombies. I'm trying to fuck around with the zombies. Let's see here. Gloki. Thank you for subscribing. We very much appreciate it. Yeah, I'll shill for a faceless corporation who only cares about money. YouTube is a great thing. YouTube is fantastic. YouTube means I get to watch anything I want all the time, every day. And as a video producer who started making videos before YouTube, YouTube is a great thing.
Oh, God. Do you remember Real Players? On my old website, that's all the videos were uploaded with Real Player.
320 by 180.
It was the worst.
It was the worst.
Starting to remember the old moves.
Nice. Listen, it means YouTube means that more people have the ability to see things that I make, and so putting up with their system is worth it.
Yeah, it's not a perfect system, but
Yeah.
none are.
No, no, and like the way around it is to get your own servers, which then you have to pay for and maintain and protect, which is crazy expensive. So, and yeah, if like Red Letter Media got their own video servers, there would be playback issues. There would be incredible costs. It just wouldn't be feasible. That's right, Pizza Train. You can go watch every episode of Danger Mouse right now if you wanted to.
What the fuck?
Oh, I thought that was a survivor, not a zombie. Oh, your dickhead friends are shooting all of them.
It happens sometimes. But that's okay. It's great.
Bonus cum. Thank you for subscribing. We very much appreciate it.
Really?
I mean, that's the name.
I think they just wanted to see if you would actually say it.
That's fine.
Greg's still waiting for me?
Gre
Greg is is still there.
Oh, I did miss one.
That was 12 hours ago.
Mr. Formanelli, thank you for subscribing. We very much appreciate
He's
it.
still there.
That fucking Greg, you know.
That's astounding.
Jolly CK, thank you for subscribing. We really appreciate it.
We really do. 'Cause everything is great.
All the time. Everything is great all the time. And I'm sorry if I missed anyone else. I've been trying to keep tabs on subscriber notifications. Obviously, I've missed a couple.
So Jack, are you excited about the Order 2? The Order 1887? I know we had some issues with the first one, but, you know, I don't want to judge the second one. The upcoming second one. I wouldn't want to do that. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
I mean, it looks good. I'm sure it's going to look good. The first one looked good.
The first one looked great.
It had issues, but I haven't played the second one.
So
It's going to be great.
So you cannot judge it before you play
No,
it. Yeah.
no. Why would I do that? That would be wrong. That would be morally wrong.
And nameless Ted, I agree that the reason for YouTube's popularity is because of the massive user base. And of course, there is a symbiotic relationship between content producers and YouTube being the distribution network. And so we have to work together. So we can't just say fuck YouTube because that's not true. Hopefully they'll sort their shit out.
You know what? If I was Bloodborne, I press the B button to try and run.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You want to. You want to dodge roll. That's all I want to do is dodge roll in every game now. Stop beating up your friends.
Well, there's zombies in the area, and they're going to get eaten if I don't beat up the zombies.
Oh,
so
okay.
you win some, you lose some.
That's a good question. Is how much is YouTube paying me to shill for 582 people? So 582 people can sign up for YouTube right now. Right. They're paying me exactly $0. $0.01. I make 1 cent for every new subscriber.
Oh.
If you subscribe with... Oh, what's happening over
What's
here?
happening?
Oh my god.
This is creepy.
What the fuck is that?
It's too late to save her. She's dead.
Well, yeah, look, there's a river of zombies
Yeah,
eating her.
no, I didn't know she'd be spawning there at this point in time.
Oh.
Our sister's already dead.
Oh, damn girl.
Tragedy for the sisters.
Right.
But, Frisbee. So,
The-
that was surprisingly effective. I love this game.
Well, that's good, Rich.
Oh my god.
Oh, you found it. You found the hat. There you go. Now you got the outfit. Oh, the outfit you're gonna die in.
Am I?
Oh, also, have I told you about my newest save state tragedy?
No.
This is before I had a save state tragedy with Binding of Isaac, a game that
Oh yeah, I remember
love.
hearing about this.
Yeah, you know, that happens. I guess it's fine. It's fine. So I was playing this new game on Sunday called Titan Souls, and it has a really neat concept behind it, which is you buy it once, much like my save state failure before. I get to buy it once, play it on the PS4 and on my Vita.
Okay.
And you could save the game on your PS4 and start playing from your save on your Vita. Really cool thing, right? It crashes every time I try to synchronize my save.
Okay.
And the only way I can play the game is it synchronizes the saves before I play. So I can't play the game I've been playing because it keeps crashing. So heads up, anyone who knows anyone involved with Titan Souls, tell them I'm super pissed. I had a good game going. I got a couple hours in, beat a couple of the bosses, and first of all, Rich, that's great.
That's pretty great.
So I'm super pissed at Titan Souls right now. That's right, leftover beef cake. Only Jesus saves. Jack, not so much. I want to.
You know, there's a special kick I can do off the wall. Can't remember how to do that one. I'm trying to reacquaint myself with the special moves.
While wearing this head. Oh. Just dick punch everyone.
Yes!
All while wearing the creepy Lego head.
See, it's hard to just knock them down because I'm too leveled up. It's hard to not kill a zombie, and I want to do more of like the kill them when they're on the ground, rip their head off.
Sure.
Shit. There's a judo throw them over your shoulder one. I never could get that.
Oh. Ooh, ah, ooh. Yeah, ooh, ooh, ooh.
But it's great.
Yeah, it's great. Damn. Oh yes, now you're gonna do all the cutscenes in the Lego head. Oh. A bee? A bee? What?
This game is like a decade old, so I'm not going to worry about spoilers. These zombies are caused... This is your chance to turn the stream off, by the way, if you haven't and want to play Dead Rising. These zombies are caused by parasitic wasps.
Oh.
Not say queen.
So he killed the wasps, all the zombies.
It kills the zombies in the immediate area.
Oh.
This is the little wasp larvae around on the ground there,
Oop.
which I just squished one.
Well, I suppose you have to squish them all. Oh, it's not a Lego head? No, it kind of looks like a Lego
Yeah,
head.
it's from the Mega Man Legends.
Oh, okay.
You can call it a Lego head if you want. Nobody cares.
It's apparently a serve bot.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the fuck, great. Yes, Rich did just spoil the game.
I gave you ample opportunity to turn the stream off.
Also, the game is
And the game is a decade old.
a decade old, so the statute of limitations has expired on the game, on spoiler warnings for the game.
What time is it, Jack?
It is 10:30. It is 10:30, Rich. Why?
I've had my fill of Dead Rising.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about DareDevil yet.
Well, I'm heading out.
Oh,
so if you
there
want to
we
talk about
go.
Daredevil,
There we go.
You
We
talk
can
about
have
it
our
after I
official
leave.
Daredevil conversation. Something needs to happen in the background during the official Daredevil conversation, though.
Over there!
Usually. Demon Souls. We don't have the PS3 with us today. We will play Demon Souls. FTL. Do a little FTL while we talk about Daredevil. No, that won't happen. It just won't happen. Yep. You did it. Oh, Greg's there now. Congratulations.
oh, Greg.
You're the Greggiest. I mean, yeah, we can just kind of mow down zombies and talk about
Yeah,
Daredevil and whatnot. Whenever Jay's ready. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, I'm heading out now.
Oh, he's heading out. Oh, shit.
Goodbye, everybody. I love you.
Oh, he said it? I didn't think he was ever going to say it.
I don't mean it.
Oh, God.
I mean, you're okay, everybody.
It's like, I love you, but I'm not, like, in love with you.
No, that's not right. Chat,
I don't
we
love
we
you.
love you, and we love all of the things that you love just as much as you love them.
All the things
Just
that are
as
special
much.
to you, we acknowledge.
But not more, because our love won't supersede your love. It'll be exactly like boot step in line with your
With your
love for all of the things that you love.
I guess what we're trying to say is we are so in love with you that our love is in love.
If you
We've
like,
still never done anything with that song.
We need. I mean,
We gotta upload it to YouTube.
you want to make a music video
Maybe.
or just upload it to?
Well, you'd want some. If you upload it to YouTube, we'd have to have some sort of visual accompaniment.
Oh, we'll just put it on SoundCloud.
I would almost rather put it on YouTube, but we'd have to come up with some visuals to go with it.
Bandcamp.
I don't know. We'll see.
We will do something.
We should do
with
something
Our love
with it.
is in love. For the Blu-ray release of Feeding Frenzy, which will happen in 20 years.
Yes. When Blu-ray's not a thing anymore. When it's hipster to like Blu-ray, that's when we'll release the Blu-ray.
Oh my God, Phoenix. I don't know. Rich?
no.
There are no spikes in Dead Rising. But thank you for asking. I love
right.
your shtick. Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye, Jay.
What?
You just want to keep this paused and talk about Daredevil?
Yeah.
Okay. Rich. Oh, hold on. I'm going to turn.
Wait. For one, if you haven't watched Daredevil
Oh, yeah.
and you plan to,
Yeah.
if you are going to watch it, you haven't yet, the stream is over for you.
Yes.
Basically, everything from here on out, full spoiler. Full on 190% Daredevil spoiler.
Daredevil spoilers are happening as soon as we're done warning you about the Daredevil spoilers. So, and that's all we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about anything else. We're going to talk about Daredevil, and then we're going to be done. So if you have not seen Daredevil and don't want any spoilers, thank you for coming out. We really appreciate it. Later. Yep, say bye, guys. We really appreciate it. You guys coming out. So I'm going to type spoilers now, and then spoilers now.
Well, this is delayed from your voice. They're going to see you type spoilers now before
Yeah.
they hear you say
Well, we haven't said.
that we're going to start saying spoilers
Yeah.
once you type saying spoilers now. So I think you have to type one more time spoilers now because of the delay.
Okay.
I think you have to type it again. Yes.
Spoilers now. Okay. So, Rich, you had a problem. You have problems with Daredevil that I don't have, I think.
It's relatively minor.
Okay.
I know we got heated the other night, but it was over in in the greater scheme of things, relatively minor points.
Right. No, and it got heated, and some of that was comical, and some of that was because I
Yeah.
really like Daredevil,
Yeah.
and we rarely have these sort of nerdy debates. So I do apologize if I struck any tone or if I was mean
That's fine.
talking
It's
about
fine.
Daredevil. Because we're friends, so we could
I know,
we'll
I know.
jib back and forth. So
I give you shit.
yeah,
I give you shit. You can give me shit sometimes. It's fine.
great. Okay,
Where are we at?
we're starting Daredevil.
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you want? You
I'm
said
not-
you had some points. You had some things.
I'm not super fond of the Kingpin. All right, let's establish some things.
That's crazy
right?
to me. Yeah,
Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin.
yeah,
He is the major focus of our hero's angst in the show.
yes.
Do we agree on that?
I mean, at a certain point, yes. First, obviously, Daredevil's just fighting crime.
Matt Murdock,
Yeah,
right? He's a devout Christian,
yeah.
a devout Catholic,
Catholic.
and Wilson Fisk is so terrible
Yeah,
that this faithful, dedicated Catholic is debating with his soul on whether or not the only way he can deal with the Kingpin is to flat out murder him. And
Yes.
he's struggling with this because the Daredevil is so bad.
yeah. Or
And
the Kingpin is so bad.
Kingpin
yeah.
is so bad that the only way that Matt Murdock can think to handle the situation is to murder him. Yes.
Yes.
It's so serious that Karen Page, it's Page, right? Karen.
Sure.
That she is willing to stupidly risk her own life in order to bring him down
How should you do that?
by digging into the wound and looking for more information on the Kingpin, even though that if they might have her killed again.
Sure.
They tried to kill her once because she did too much.
Yeah.
She kind of got out okay.
Yeah.
And then it's so important to bring the Kingpin down. She's going to risk her life and potentially be assassinated again.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes.
Ben Urich, the reporter.
Ben Urich, the reporter. Yes.
Taking down the Kingpin is so important that he refuses a promotion that will give his dying wife better health care. Because what he's doing to stop the Kingpin, finding this information is so important. Do we agree on this?
In that specific case, I think Ben Urich, the moral of the Ben Urich side is that he is such a diehard reporter. I don't think that had to do specifically with the Kingpin. I just think that was like a story.
I think though at the point though where he's like putting his dying wife kind of on the back burner, he's risking her health care.
And see, the way his character played to me was like, and everyone said it, like his wife was like, he was a reporter, blah, blah.
Okay.
So it's like, if it was any interesting, so all he saw was an interesting story. So that wasn't necessarily
So his motivation might just be because he's too much of a reporter. But
Yeah.
at least with Matthew Murdock and Karen, their motivation is that the Kingpin is so awful, he has to be stopped,
Yes.
no matter the consequences.
Absolutely. I can agree.
What I can't wrap my head around
Yeah.
is why is the Kingpin that important? Why are they willing to do this to stop the Kingpin? What has he done that is so terrible that needs to be stopped so desperately?
Okay.
This is what I don't understand.
Okay. And I'm going to do my best.
Yes.
And Rich warned me that we were going to talk more in depth about this. So I
wanted to, well, mostly I wanted to have a
civil.
more focused, more civil, because
Yes.
I had just watched the show at this point. I hadn't really digested what I've seen, and it's at this point it's sat for a few days, and I think we can have a better conversation.
I agree. And so I actually rewatched the first 2 episodes just to kind of reacclimate myself, because I didn't binge watch, but Lisa and I watched like a couple episodes every night, and so I got through the series pretty fast. It's only 13 episodes, so I rewatched the first 2 episodes, and here is something that I think you might like. Maybe is not as important to you, or you might be downplaying. Is the reason the Kingpin is such a bad guy is because he personally affected, like for Karen, right? He is responsible for changing her life.
Yes.
He framed her for murder, and he murdered someone in her apartment, right?
Yes.
And like that was a huge character thing for her. That has literally broken her for the rest of the series, as far as we know, right?
Yeah.
Then later on, she finds out that the Kingpin was responsible for that. So like for her, that's incredibly personal. So
Okay,
that would make
okay.
sense, right? For DareDevil, who literally is just trying to fight bad guys,
Yes.
right? He's fighting bad guys. Like he develops a relationship with Karen, but more so, all he's trying to do is stop the bad guys. He learns that the Kingpin is the biggest bad guy through the Russians, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, he is the biggest threat.
Okay.
So that makes sense. Now that's just like technically why he's the most baddest of the guy, because he affects someone personally. He affects someone slightly personally, but he's just like the big bad boss, right? For Daredevil. But if you look back at that first episode, the reason why us as viewers can understand why he is so big is because they shroud him in mystery.
Yeah.
And all we hear about is hearsay and rumor, which adds this like mythos to him. Like the Kingpin is so powerful that he has all of these people bowing down to him, and he's not even in the room with them, right? Like we see like the old Chinese lady, the Russians, the accountant, the Japanese guy. They're all talking to someone who they call his lapdog, but they're listening to his lapdog because they are so afraid of the Kingpin. And so, like us as the audience, all we have to go on is how other characters react to him. And so, just through the world, without ever seeing the Kingpin, we know he's huge.
Okay. Now this is part of my digesting and my mulling it over.
Please.
Right? What do the Kingpin? Here's how the organization works, right? There's like 4 or 5 people involved. There's the accountant guy.
Yeah.
There's Gao, who does the drugs with the blind people.
Yep.
There's the Russians.
Who makes the drugs.
Who makes the drugs.
Yeah.
There's the Japanese, who are just Yakuza. I don't know what they do, but they're
Yeah.
Yakuza.
Yeah.
And then there's the Russians, who kidnap people.
And they distribute the drugs.
And supposedly, I'm assuming these people all have been doing these things their entire life. The Gao has always made her living doing drugs, and the Russians are just have been lifelong criminals.
Sure, we can assume that.
How does the Kingpin facilitate that when they'd be doing these things whether or not the Kingpin would be there? In fact, what does the Kingpin do at all that these other characters would need or care about? The Kingpin doesn't seem to have his own mafia. He seems to almost just be a businessman who has gotten himself involved with crime so he could get more money. But I never really got the sense that he had his own mafia. He just has his Smithers, and I'm going to call him Smithers because he's basically Smithers. And then there's like a few other bodyguards that we don't see until near the end of the show.
Can we agree that Smithers is fantastic?
He's a little bit.
love,
yes and no.
I love Smithers.
He's too devoted.
I love that about him.
He's devoted to the point where it almost throws me off of liking that character. But
man, as an evil, and we're spoiler free, so we can talk about it.
Yes.
And you've seen it all now,
yes,
right?
I've seen it all.
Okay, so no, so super spoilers for Daredevil now. When Smithers dies, I was shocked because I loved him so much as a bad guy because he was so creepily devoted. It was just like, what did the Kingpin do? Why is Smithers so into him? I had so many questions that I really wanted to explore his character more.
And I don't see what I would say when I watch the show. I don't understand why they're devoted to him because he doesn't seem to be that important to the big picture.
Well, so here's the thing.
He brings nothing to the table. The other people kind of run the crimes. And if I were Daredevil, I'd be less concerned with Wilson Fisk than I would be in just stopping Gao from making the drugs and stopping the Russians from kidnapping people. And once you get rid of those people, what does the Kingpin have? He's a businessman.
Well, here's what they talk about. There's citing specific examples from the show.
Yes.
The Russians during the Russian episode, I want to say that's episode 3.
They were my favorite villains, I think.
They were goofy. They were funny. The Russians talk specifically about how Wilson Fisk gave them the opportunity for the big time. Mm-hmm. So Wilson used his money, influence, power to elevate them to where they are. So they might have been small-time crooks. He used his evil power, whatever it may be, to give them the network, to give them the money. So he's their boss, right? Mm-hmm. So therefore, they needed him. And he needs, it's a symbiotic relationship, right? Bosses and workers.
I'll let you finish with that. I want to interject on that. When you say symbiotic relationship,
sure.
I want to go back there, but keep going.
Okay, so the Russians weren't doing as many. They might have been stealing women, right? They might have been pushing. Oh no, they weren't pushing drugs because they weren't until Gao got there. But they might have been stealing women. They might have been doing all these small things. But Wilson Fisk took them to the next level of bad guyness. Mm-hmm. Gao talks about the drugs, but she mentioned specifically that drugs is what makes money today, but it has not always been that way. Yeah. So it's quite possible that she wasn't doing that because she didn't have the distribution that the Russians had. And so Wilson Fisk, as the boss, brings the bad guys together to make the money. And doesn't that make him very powerful? Like, it makes him a middleman, possibly, but
yeah,
but he also has a ton of money. How did he get that money? We can only assume through nefarious reasons, right?
Well, I mean, do we know it was through nefarious? Like, how do we? What is Kingpin? Kingpin, his motivation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's an art-loving guy who wants to clean up the city.
Well, he's not an art-loving guy.
What is Wilson Fisk? Yeah, okay. I know there's something weird going on with that painting. That is interesting.
Fucking love that.
That is interesting. What does he need out of the criminals? It seems like he already has the money because you're saying he finances the Russians. So apparently money is something he already had, or whatever.
Oh, sure.
So what does he get out of allying with these scumbags?
Well, you always need more money, right? And so, like, he saw the Russians, and maybe the Russians had a network for kidnapping women, right? Mm-hmm. And so he says, oh, there's a network of Russians here, and there's someone who makes drugs. If we can get them together, I can get a piece of the profit. And like, remember, like, in the first episode, he was yelling at the Russians because they were short on their women's sales, So he's obviously the boss of the Russians, and that's a money generating revenue, apparently. And so the question was, what does he get from he gets more money. And more money is more power, and that's more bad guys. That's more people in his army.
Yeah.
So, Fisk wants power. Absolutely, Dick Neutral. That's the thing. Fisk wants power, and he's getting it by building his army. And then we get later, like, I know that was one of your big complaints is, like, Fisk, who did he kill? And then, like I say, well, he kills the Russians. He blows up all the Russians.
And the Russians are horrible people. So I can't really hate the Kingpin as much as I would if he were, like, deliberately blowing up decent. If you're like blowing up the apartments where the innocent people refuse to leave, then I'd hate that scumbag. But he blew up people who would kidnap kids off the street and sell them into sex slavery. This is a good thing.
But he was in charge. Like, he was in charge of the sex slave.
Well, the Russians were. I mean,
no.
I presume they would do that.
Kingpin was in charge of the sex slave.
Fingers in there, yes.
Yes. Also, I'm going to cite Man of Steel.
Okay.
We think that Superman is not a good guy because while he might be punching the bad guy, he's destroying buildings in the
But see,
process.
my argument isn't that Wilson Fisk isn't evil.
Right.
My argument is that he's not sufficiently evil, or in I couldn't figure out why he was important to the organization, and these things were just confusing me.
Sure.
Because he, like I said, Matt Murdock is considering murdering him.
Right.
So I would expect him to be the most deplorable, evil thing to walk the face of the earth. And he feels almost like a middleman in his own organization.
And I think a lot of that is purposeful.
Okay.
Because and for anyone who's seen all of them, and hopefully that's all of you now, because we are spoiling the shit out of this as we warned you we would.
We told you we would.
So, we get to this final episode, right? Which we'll talk about more in depth. But we get to this final episode, and Wilson Fisk understands that he needs to drop this idea of being the Good Samaritan, right?
Yeah.
And just goes and basically says, I'm not doing that anymore. I am full-blown evil. But I think that was part of the conflict of Wilson Fisk, is like trying... what he should be, what he can be, and like he wanted power.
Trying to not be his father and turning into his father. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And so that was part of it. And so, like, I think part of that theme is him almost seeming like the middleman, even though he was in charge. And there's conflict in him. And most of his badness is all hearsay. I agree with that. Like, the things we see him do. Although, we see him kill a fucking guy with his car door. And yes, he's a Russian.
He kills a scumbag.
He kills a scumbag, but...
He kills a scumbag.
That does not make him any less badass.
He has one decent old lady murdered. And that is like, well into the show.
Yeah.
That's, like, the first really evil thing I saw him do
Sure.
that wasn't committed against somebody who wasn't already evil.
But...
And that's... Was it, like, episode... 8, 9 out of 13.
Yeah. Oh, that was later. But still, like, there's plenty of hearsay. We know he has power and influence because of the people around him and the way he acts. And then we see him murder a guy with his bare hands. I'm gonna say that's enough for me. Pizza Train wants to know what says, ask Rich what counts for his as sufficiently evil. Like Rich wants him to tie a damsel to a train track.
If he were actually himself running the like sex slave organization and not just dealing business wise with some Russians who were actually in charge of that.
But
they could have been doing anything to make illegal money, and he would have still been partnered with them. He wasn't the guy behind that. He wasn't the guy behind the.
But
evil.
he was.
He's not.
His lapdog. Wanted the Russians to be accountable for why they were short with their shipment of sex slaves.
Yes.
Therefore, Wilson Fisk is in charge of the sex slave.
Okay, fine. But I don't know that they wouldn't be doing that if it weren't for the Kingpin. It seems like their thing, and he found these people who were doing illegal things, and got in contact with all these illegal people so they could run more efficiently. That's the way I saw what he was doing. Well, if we could use your cabs to sell the drugs, then we'll all make more money. I never got the sense that he masterminded the sex trade or the blind heroin making trade.
He might not have. I mean,
And if he were the what I'm saying is what would make him sufficiently evil.
Yeah.
Is if he were the mastermind who actually set these things up.
He's clearly in charge, though.
Yeah, but I'm not. What I'm not sure is why.
Okay.
I'm not sure why these other people need him to be in charge of anything, because it seems like they're doing illegal things and making money on their own. I know you could speculate on what may have gone on, but there's nothing in the show that actually,
Wait, Rich. Phoenix has a very good question. Why is Rich judging sex trafficking if he's never even tried it? So hypocritical. Why are you being so negative on the sex trade?
Not going there.
No,
Not going there.
Pizza Train. I think this is a good thing. It's not about like what makes a character evil. Rich is.
It's not what makes him important enough.
Yeah.
That these other people are willing to basically torture themselves in order to bring him down. Because I think if he were gone, like even if Matt Murdock ignored the Russians and he ignored the Gao and he ignored the Yakuza and if he just murdered the Kingpin, I think they would all still be doing their things and some other jackass would step up to be whatever Kingpin's money middleman role was, or they might not need him at all.
There are 2 points.
Yeah.
To counter that argument. One is, they mention, Matt mentions his thought process, which is, you cut off the head and the rest will kind of be struggling. With no leadership, it'll be easier to pick off the little things. And the other important thing about the Kingpin is he owns politicians, judges, cops, right?
Yeah.
So it's quite possible that his act as leader is to make sure that the cops look away at appropriate times. And as long as Fisk is around, no justice will happen because of all the police that are under his control.
Okay, this is for argument. See, somebody in the chat is saying, was it Two Brains, that Rich needed him to be a mustache twirler. No, I'm not. That's not really my point. I don't need him to be a mustache twirler. I just need to know why he's important and why taking Wilson Fisk's down, specifically him, is going to fix all of the problems.
So
because everyone acts that way.
I think the why he's important, like how he got to where he is not an important question. Like he is where he is, right? Yeah. And we know the good part of the backstory, which is awesome. The Wilson Fisk's backstory is great.
Yeah, I like when he looks in the mirror. And he only sees himself as a kid covered in blood holding a hammer. And they don't explain that at first.
Right?
And that's great.
Right. Wilson Fisk murders his father with a ball-peen hammer. Well, until he gets his lady friend, and then he sees him. And I think that's great. That, you know what that is? A great visual metaphor. What was I saying with this? So we don't need to know why he's powerful. All we need to know is that he's powerful.
Okay.
And the fact, like, the reason he is in charge is, like, he owns taking him out means cops might start acting like cops, or at least they won't look the other way, right? Taking him out means you destroy the central nervous system so you can take out all the little factions. That's the solid plan.
See, maybe it's just the cynic in me.
Okay.
But I can't help but think like even if they do take him down, just some other jackass is gonna step in and take over his role, and it's gonna be the same shit. You're not treating the causes; you're just treating a symptom.
No, and see, I think it's the other way around. It's like if you take out, like, for example,
yeah,
the Russians were taken out, and Wilson Fisk was able to replace them all. On that same day, with all the Russians exploded. Using police to kill the rest of them, Wilson Fisk, boom, says, we have that now, don't worry. So you need to take out Fisk, or else every other person you take out will be replaced.
Okay.
I think that, like, that's the important thing, and, maybe it wasn't enough. Maybe, I am assuming a lot of things about the Wilson Fisk character because of what I know of him from the comics.
Oh, wait, I need to play the game.
Is that what they're saying?
No.
Oh, no. Oh, because it went dark.
There we go. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. And so, you know, like it might not be enough for you. I don't know. Like it was, I was able to make that leap that the Kingpin is the most badass, and beyond that, the way that D'Onofrio plays him to me was so beautifully unnerving. Every time he spoke, I got twitchy.
I'm gonna go ahead and bring up Bane from The Dark Knight Rises, and he talked funny, and I think you either loved it or you hated it.
No one loved the way Bane talked.
I am sure there's somebody out there who thought that was neat.
Really?
There's gotta be. I don't know. I'm assuming there are.
Maybe.
I think it's a matter of opinion. I don't like the way he talks, but I'm not gonna fault anybody who does.
Sure.
I think I mentioned. I think I told you earlier. He's about 7 degrees short of wearing an Edgar suit.
Great reference.
It's weird in a way that's very like he sounds like unsure of himself. He doesn't sound like the villain who's in charge.
Yeah.
And I get it.
And
I don't love it.
and
I get it, but I don't love it.
That's it. That's so. And see, like to me, that's just like he's the most realized villain I've seen in a long time. He's an actual.
Oh, this is better.
Oh, that's much better. Like he's such a complete character, and then we learn about his past with his abusive father. We learn about like the fact that he was just like a poor dumb kid, right? And then you realize he's putting on these airs of being the Kingpin, of loving art and whatnot, even though all he wants to do is look at an old stucco wall. And like all of his like remember when he was driving with his mom and he's like, "Mother," and she looks at him funny and he goes, "Mom." And it's just like, yes, he's just a kid putting on airs, and all of his little vocal tics are so on point. That's great. You need to do that all the time.
I'm gonna blame the comic books and liking the character in the comic books who was just kind of a ruthless son of a bitch.
I agree.
A ruthless, calculating son of a bitch.
Did you read any of Ultimate Spider-Man?
Yeah. I love the early bits of Ultimate Spider-Man. Before it was Ultimate Spider-Man. We're digressing into Ultimate Spider-Man a little bit right now.
That's okay.
Ultimate Spider-Man's problem is that it became too serious all of the time.
Yeah.
Bendis could not throttle it down for just 2 or 3 story arcs. But I mean, every story arc, it's the worst thing that has ever happened to Peter Parker. And it got exhausting.
Yeah, it did. The real thing though, Ultimate Spider-Man versus Kingpin in that early run of Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh, great.
Was beautiful. Was absolutely beautiful. And I do love
the fat jokes were the best
right
ever. I have something I've been meaning to say to you. I've been thinking about it a lot, and you're so fat that that was the best thing ever. So okay, last episode. We want to talk about that then.
Sure, and I agree with you. I think you mentioned that the last episode was a bit of a letdown.
Yeah,
and I agree for so many reasons.
Now, for whatever issues I had with their take on the Kingpin,
yeah,
maybe I would have liked him to be more of the ruthless, calculating villain from the comics. Okay, fine.
Sure.
But you spent a whole season setting this guy up, and you set him up to be the big bad guy. I mean, that should be running throughout your whole series. That should be the series finale dealing with him, not the season finale. Because, if you haven't seen it yet, and if you're still listening to this, you should have seen it by now, because we're spoiling the fuck out of it.
We're spoiling everything.
The Kingpin is defeated.
Yeah.
That story thread ends.
The Kingpin is put in jail pending trial.
Yes, he is. And he could come back next season, but my problem with that is, since he's already been defeated, it's kind of like the lamer sequel. It's like the Borg coming back after the best of both worlds. He's been defeated once, and it's just now it's a rerun. If he comes back, it's a rerun.
But there was the completion of the character arc in the last season, where he decided, Wilson Fisk made the decision to go full blown villain.
Yeah.
So when he comes back, he will be full blown villain.
Yeah.
So it will be a little different.
All right.
He was defeated, which sucks. I mean, it doesn't suck. It's good and it's bad, which is like the good part of it is if Daredevil wasn't picked up for another season, it was a good closure.
And then I'm wondering if that's why they didn't do it. Because they weren't sure if they were going to get picked up or how it was going to go over, and they wanted that closure. And I can kind of applaud that.
And you know what? You can get your closure, and then, of course, like, he can always come out with, like, his army of lawyers, and then, like, then it'll be a fun story of, like, how does he keep being evil while waiting for trial? And so it's like, I think there's a way to get away with it. If they're smart about it, and I hope they will. I hope that the people making season 2 are smart about it. It felt... The rest of the season was this lovely, slow pace. Every episode seemed to take its time, and I loved that. Except for the last episode. The last episode felt rushed.
Yeah.
There's a lot into it. I didn't much... It felt like a little bit of a letdown, and the biggest letdown of them all was the god-awful red suit.
It's awful relative to the makeshift suit he's been wearing. Because if you're going for the gritty realism, just a superhero who's just wearing shit he could find, the sweatshirt and just whatever, just normal pants, and a mask that's just like a cloth he tied around his head.
But that mask was beautiful.
Yes, it was.
Oh God, that was awesome.
It worked.
It looked great. That the visual in episode 2, right before that awesome hallway fight scene.
Yeah.
And he tied the rope around his hands, and you just see him like getting ready for the fight, and he looks all badass. Oh, it's such a great suit.
So here's the thing about the makeshift suit.
Yeah.
It's not quite so super heroic. Yeah. So he feels like somebody who can lose and die.
Yes.
Like especially with how beat up he gets, you get horribly just worried for him, even though you know he's going to survive.
Sure. But
you're like, there's no way he's making it out of this one.
Yes.
And now with that red suit, he's going to feel like superhero man. Relatively invulnerable superhero man.
Yeah.
I think they're going to lose something with that suit.
If they do not change the design of the suit, the thing they will lose is me as a viewer.
Yeah.
I will not watch Daredevil if he's in that ugly, ugly suit.
I see, my problem isn't so much the suit is ugly in itself. I think it looks okay for a superhero suit. It's fine. But the makeshift one was just so much more interesting.
Yes.
I'm going to say more interesting rather than better or cooler. It's just interesting and vulnerable.
Yes.
He's what I like about this is he's the anti-Batman. Batman just throws money at the problem and training, and I'm gonna buy an Iron Man suit because Batman is an Iron Man now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna solve everything with my resources. Mm-hmm. Matt Murdock's got jack shit for resources. Yeah. And when he straps on those hockey pads that Batman was mocking in The Dark Knight, it's a thing of beauty.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like, well, I got hockey pads. Let's go do this.
I have hockey pads and construction-grade work gloves. I loved that. Well, and that was the other part of like what made Daredevil so special to me is like Marvel said they're doing street level. Mm-hmm. Like, we want to do superheroes, but we've done, aliens destroy New York. This is street level. This is something different. And it almost felt more realistic, even though he was dodging bullets.
Sure.
It felt realer. And now that he
felt vulnerable.
Yes. Yeah. And beyond that.
Like, there's scenes I was thinking, oh, that mask is just going to fall off, and they're going to see who he is.
Yeah. Oh no, the black getup is definitely off the table. He has a suit. He's going to be wearing a suit. Is the real thing. Mm-hmm. We can't get the black suit back because that's not how TV works.
Unless they find a way to destroy it. It wouldn't be for him. It wouldn't be such an easy thing to recreate.
Sure. What I really think is going to happen is. I think enough people have complained, and I've seen nothing but complaints online about the ugly red suit. Mm-hmm. Is I think they're going to redesign it, and like it will just be like the next suit. Like, oh, this is the real suit. The last suit was the prototype.
Sure.
you know, if it's red and has horns, I guess I don't care. I don't like the fake eyebrows. I don't like the fact that we can see his eyes. I loved his mask just covering his face. He's a blind guy. He doesn't need eyes, right?
Yeah.
I don't like the mesh suit pieces that looks. It's not visually pleasing. And for a thing we have to look at, I want it to be visually pleasing.
See, I don't know. It's just the makeshift one is so good because it looks like just something a guy put together with what he had.
Yes,
what he can get away with.
I agree.
It's just interesting is the word I can. The only word I can use. It's just a more interesting approach to a superhero costume.
But I mean, knowing anything about television production, they can't go back to it.
No, I don't think they will.
No. And I 100%
Story-wise, I don't know how they justify it either because this new suit is technically a much better, more protective suit.
Sure. So they can't go back. I just want a prettier red suit. That's all I want. And maybe part of the prettier red suit is like understanding its flaws, and maybe they can show like how he still gets hurt in his red suit. Him getting hurt was such a big part of the show.
Yes. You thought he was gonna die.
Yeah.
And intellectually, you know that's not gonna happen.
Right.
But man, did he get fucked up.
That was great. I hope Rosario Dawson comes back too. I liked her. I thought their love thing was a little forced. I didn't get that. That came on real quickly.
She'll be back. I don't know if it'll be a love thing though. Obviously, I don't know what they're going to do, but I strongly suspect more of they haven't seen any Elektra yet, but I suspect Elektra will show up and we'll see a lot more of Stick.
I hope so.
That's what I think is going to be the focus of season 2. I don't know if they'll bring the Kingpin back right away, or if they do, he might not be the major villain. I think they're going to go with whatever ninja stuff is lurking behind Stick.
Ninja stuff.
It's going to be ninja stuff, and I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah, we like ninja stuff.
We're going to see Elektra. We're going to see more Stick.
Yeah.
We're going to see ninjas. We're going to see the hand.
Ooh, the hand.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's my prediction, based on no evidence.
All right.
Other than the fact that they hinted at Elektra in a flashback.
Yeah. All right. You know what this does get me really excited about?
What?
Is the other Marvel Netflix show.
Yeah. Is Bullseye going to wear a costume? Or is he just going to be an assassin wearing a suit? Because you know they're going to bring Bullseye in at some point.
They have to.
Yeah. And he's not going to be wearing a superhero suit, is he? Do you think they're going to do something like similar to what Daredevil wears? Are they going to go there?
No, they'll Nolan it where it's like the realistic version.
Yeah.
Like they won't go crazy like they do. I know you haven't seen it, but Arrow's villains are dumb. They wear goofy stuff and it looks really ridiculous. They'll make a realistic version and hopefully it'll look good. Like, you know, original Bullseye had that awful like bullseye on his target on his forehead.
You know what's going to be? He's going to show up once,
Yeah.
and he's just going to be a normal assassin. He's just going to be wearing like a suit, business suit,
Uh-huh.
and then he's going to have a fight with Daredevil. And then the next time he shows up, because of Daredevil, he's going to be wearing like something more like a suit,
More fancy.
a fancy suit.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I'm just like, now I want Iron Fist. I want Luke Cage. I want all those other Netflix shows. Ooh, maybe we'll get an Iron Fist thing.
Maybe.
An Iron Fist cameo.
Maybe. I'm kind of hurt though now. Somebody in the chat wants us to shut up so they can watch their movie. Their post-stream movie. They just want us to end.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, that was kind of our Daredevil talk.
That was kind of a Daredevil talk.
But that was much more civil than it was on Sunday.
Yeah.
Mostly because now we're face to face.
I mean, I had just watched the show and my thoughts weren't very focused at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, that's good.
I wanted to do this again and do it better. So,
Yeah, that's good. Hyped for Iron Fist. Absolutely. Hyped for any... I don't know. I don't remember all the shows that they announced that were Marvel Netflix shows, but if this is the kind of caliber show that they're producing, I'm fucking on board.
why isn't this on a network? Why? It's good enough.
Here's why. Because Marvel is super smart.
I think, you know what? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
well, and more so, did you look at like the running times of every episode?
I didn't pay that much attention. No.
Here's the most glorious thing about non-televised TV shows.
Are they like radically different from one another?
Some are 40-some minutes, some are 50-some minutes. Like 10-minute differences.
Okay.
All in
Okay.
content. Which means that the writers and the directors and the editors actually get to make whatever story is the best that doesn't have to fill a certain amount of time.
You know, I didn't notice that. That's great.
Isn't that great?
That is great. Yeah.
And that's the and you know, they probably, like, going through Netflix, they probably didn't have, like, the budget. They didn't have as big a budget, but that's okay. They worked with what they had. And hopefully they keep doing so. Well, I mean, Netflix probably paid them a decent amount of money, and of course they have Disney money now, so they have all the money in the fucking world.
Cinnamon. We will probably get the Punisher showing up on Netflix at some point.
I hope not. I've always hated the Punisher.
Really?
Always.
Oh, they did it Daredevil style.
If they did it Daredevil,
Daredevil needs to meet the Punisher. Because they've had some decent confrontations.
Punisher has always been.
I know there was one story I read. I don't remember who wrote it or what era it's from, but like the Punisher has Daredevil tied up. They had like a fight, and he actually has a gun in like Daredevil's hands, and the gun is like aimed at the Punisher the way he's tied up.
Yeah.
And the Punisher's like, I'm gonna shoot this guy down in the street unless you shoot me first. If they want to do some shit like that,
You know what? Yeah, that's
I'd be down with it.
bring in the Punisher as a quasi bad guy.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that. Ooh, and by the way,
That guy's a criminal. I'm gonna shoot him. If you really want to stop me, you're gonna have to shoot me.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember what issue that was or when it was written or who wrote it.
Pizza Train also makes another good point, which is
Probably something from Garth Ennis.
Okay.
Probably, but I
Sure.
don't remember.
The other reason it's not on television is because of the violence and swearing. So it'd have to be cable,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Cable might not have the budget, and of course, like their story only ran 13 episodes, and cable might not want that. They might want more. They might want less, and it adds extra fingers into the producer pot.
I'm not complaining because I like what we got. I'm curious why, like, a network wouldn't even try to do something like that. But you're right, the swearing. I hadn't even really thought about it.
The swearing, the blood, and then of course, like as far as Marvel and Disney are concerned, like they don't want other people ruining their good thing. Like fuck ABC, they're gonna tell us what to do, right? Oh, they are saying Garth Ennis.
Dungeon Master Blasters. Oh wait, no, that's not him. Who else said that? Oh, Cosper says, does Punisher kill every criminal? He only leaves them alive when he wants to fuck with them, like Jigsaw. He just keeps ruining Jigsaw's face because Jigsaw used to be vain.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yes, he kills every single criminal.
Yes, that's Punisher's shtick. Which is why I don't like it. I don't dig that shtick.
Read Garth Ennis' Punisher.
Okay.
Read his Punisher.
Garth Ennis.
Garth Ennis, the guy who wrote Preacher.
Okay.
Do you want dark humor or do you want something serious? Because he wrote the Punisher both ways.
Oh, okay.
His earlier runs on the Punisher, dark humor.
All right.
And then, like, when the Max imprint took over Punisher and he was still writing it, different artist, dark, serious Punisher. And I think he has a really interesting take on the Punisher's psychology.
All right. I'm down.
So,
I'm down to give him another chance.
it's very dark.
I'm okay with dark.
He's not afraid to imply that the Punisher is basically just a guy who likes killing people and is using criminals as an excuse to do it.
Yeah, that's a good way to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I like that. All right. Well, obviously, we've stopped playing the game.
Oh, yeah.
And we're all out of Daredevil talk. So thanks, everyone, for coming out.
Wait, I'm playing the game.
Oh, wait, we're just playing the
I'm
game
playing
again.
the game.
We're just playing the game again.
Am I doing good?
Thank you to all the old subscribers. Thank you to all the new subscribers. And thank you everyone else for just coming out. We really appreciate
I'm
you
going to
guys
win the game.
talking about
I'm
we're
gonna
talking
win.
about Daredevil, and we really appreciate y'all coming out. But thank you.